Hello there. I'm at Robinson Woods in the Chicagoland area, and Robinson Woods is one of those places that everybody around this area knows about. If you know anything about the paranormal world, or even slightly interested, you know about this spot. And people have heard all kinds of things, seen all kinds of things from when it comes to like orbs, full body apparitions, and even heard tribal drumming in the distance. So how much validity is there to these claims? Probably a little more than you think. So let's check it out.
You know, someone from out of town would have no idea why Robinson Woods got the reputation that it has. But if you grew up in this area, this was the place to test your nerves with your friends when you were looking for that thrill. Many have seen orbs in this area, in addition to full-body apparitions, and even tribal drumming. A man named Alexander Robinson was given this land by the U.S. government after the Fort Dearborn massacre. Among other things, he helped transport officers and family members to safety. Alexander Robinson, or Chief Chichi Pinquay, was a chief to the Potawatomi, Chippewa, and Ottawa Nation of Indians. Well, he and his family lived on this property. After living to 110 years old, he died, and his descendants continued to live here until the 50s, until there was a house fire that the family could not afford to rebuild. Now, there are a lot of guesses as to why this place is actually haunted. Some say it's because the Forest Preserve had no right to take the land back after the house fire, and now the family's upset about the loss of the land. Now, you could also surmise that it was because of the fact that the actual headstones were removed because the city was afraid of vandalism, or you could surmise that because they lost them afterwards. Now, in their defense, they did find them in the back of a warehouse, but they never put them back. There is a second part to this story that adds a layer of horror and sadness. In 1955, the same year that the Robinson house burned down, the bodies of 3 children were found in a ditch, dead at the corner of Lawrence and River Road. They were found naked, their eyes were taped shut. They were sexually abused and thrown away like trash. It was a heartbreaking case that would go unsolved for 40 years. Another seemingly unrelated murder, that of the Brock's candy heiress, which deserves a whole video in and of itself, but is related in more than one way. Helen Voorhees Brock would eventually lead detectives to the killer of the boys. The story goes, they went downtown, and they traveled to see the movie The African Lion. The boys were planning on hitchhiking back, and they ended up getting into Kenneth Hansen's vehicle. Hansen, with a history of sexual abuse towards minors. Who, you mean this guy? No. Promised horse rides at the local horse stable that he worked at. They arrived at the Idle Hours horse stable in Park Ridge, Illinois. And after sexually abusing the boys, he strangled them and dumped them into Robinson Woods at the corner of Lawrence and River Road.
After reading all the newspaper clippings and looking at all the photos, I think this is the spot. I think this is the spot where you drop those 3 dead bodies off, those 3 boys.
Now, I don't know if this makes Robinson Woods any more haunted than it already was, but it's definitely not any less haunted. This has been another episode of The Haunted Banana.